All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, this is the third episode of this go-around, right? Yeah, third episode of Life in Racer's Lane. Today, we have a special guest with us. I like to say this is a fancy introduction, by the way, so I'm going to get real fancy, okay? Real fancy, but
I don't know if I'm worth that.
We're excited to bring in one of the leaders on campus and someone who has a huge impact on UNOH athletics. Welcome, head men's basketball coach, Richard Westerlund. Thanks so much, Coach, for joining us.
Hey, man, it's a great day to be a racer.
Ain't it, though?
It's a great day. Who has it better than us?
Nobody.
Come on now.
Let's
Come
go.
on
Well, first off, thank you so much. As we kind of created the idea for this podcast, being able to share information about all the things going on campus was probably our number one priority with this.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not from Lima. You can dive into that a little bit. And this is, UNOH was definitely probably not on your radar at some point in time in your future career goals of looking at places to be. But we still love to bring that to the equation with everyone kind of listening and being involved with this, because UNOH, the one thing that we do here very well is we have a lot of people from a lot of different places that are coming together for a common type goal, right? Yeah. Which is to create a great environment and a great place. So before we dive into that, why don't you just give me just a little bit of background for you, go into much depth as you want from, how you maybe ended up here at UNOH and in the coaching world.
Yeah. So, I got started coaching very young. I became a head varsity coach at 19 years old.
Which is I've heard this story. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. So I played 3 sports in college. I played college soccer, basketball, and baseball. And we went to the national tournament in every sport my freshman year. So that was a pretty cool achievement. But after my freshman year of basketball, I knew I wanted to coach. That's what I went to school for. And then a school that was about an hour away from my college, their position opened up. And I talked to the administrator. And I'm like, look, I'm interested. I would love to. And he was a little concerned about my age at first. At 19, he didn't know if I'd be ready. His name's Brian Wilson. And I'm so thankful for him and the impact he's had in my journey, and just teaching me the professionalism that's needed to be a coach.
Yeah.
I learned so much from him, but he gave a young 19-year-old know-it-all a shot. And after about 2 weeks, I realized I knew nothing.
Sure.
But I just fell in love with it, and then from there, I feel like God just really opened up a lot of doors for me, from becoming the youngest college coach ever right before my 22nd birthday, getting the head job at Rice State Lake, which ultimately laid the groundwork for me to be here at UNOH.
Sure.
And then Great Lakes Christian College, where I was there for 5 years, which was transformational in my journey as a professional and as a coach. Was there for 5 years, and then now, obviously, this is year 3 at UNOH. So I've been really blessed. I got into coaching. I knew that's what I wanted to do from the time I was 16 years old. I've had great mentors. I had a great family support system. And so I always say, I've been very fortunate, because there's a lot of people out there that's still looking for their first head coaching job.
No, absolutely.
And I got my first head coaching job at 19. I got my first head college job at 22. And so I'm really fortunate about that, and I count my blessings about that too.
I can't even begin. I'm thinking, 19 years old, I'm a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
Trying to get on the starting lineup, you know what I mean? My train of thought was never in my wildest dreams. In that moment, thinking, you know what, I'm going to go be a coach of anything, let alone at that level. How did you even get to the point where you thought to yourself, you know what, 19 years old, I want to be the youngest coach ever?
That's what I always wanted to do. When I was 19, Bashir Wagner, that's a name. Okay.
Whoa.
No, not Bashir Wagner. I think it was Bashir Mason, actually. He became the youngest head college coach, Division I head college coach at Wagner University.
Oh, wow.
He was 24 years old.
Okay.
And so I said, I want to beat him. And so I didn't get to, I've never been a Division I coach. That's not in my career path. It's not something that I really said, hey, this is what I want to do. I love small college athletics. I love the NAI level and the opportunity that I have to impact at a greater scale, in my opinion. But I said I wanted to be the youngest college coach ever. And so I worked really hard.
Sure.
I was not that college kid who was out partying. I didn't have my first beer till 21.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact, Wow. But, I can put away with the best of them now.
Look at that. They're both like, what?
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Coach Rich loves to knock back some Miller Lights, but didn't have my first one until 21. But anyways, so I was really just focused on my career and wanting that. I told myself, if I make sacrifices now, the things that I want to have happen, will happen, like some of the fun. So I really just dialed in on my passion, which was coaching.
Sure. You mentioned a key thing, and I want to kind of come back to that. You mentioned, Division I, not really your cup of tea. You feel like you can make the most impact at NAI. Like, why do you say that, and what kind of goes into that thought process?
I just think small college athletics, it's just a very unique feel. And that's not to say that there aren't some big schools that have some great family atmospheres.
Yeah.
But I believe I have far more touch points on my student athletes in their daily lives, and then just have more influence with some of the silos that matter more.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that impact in admissions and be able to know everybody in admissions, in academics, and administration at a bigger school like a Division I. Sure. Whereas at, a UNOH or a Great Lakes Christian College or a Crossroads College or a Wright State Lake, I've got some relationships that I think pull weight to where, I can be a voice for my men's basketball team. And again, I feel like my men's basketball team has more people pouring into them than just me. We're at, a bigger school, you could be just a number, and that's not the case here. A lot of colleges talk family. What I love about UNOH is we really live that.
Yeah. I couldn't agree anymore, honestly. In the same vein, Division I, type administrative, Division I type teaching, big school type living is for a very...
And NIL's changed everything.
we
can get into that
though.
later, but it's a lot more... At Division I level is basically pro at this point.
What's the difference at this level?
Yeah, whereas I think NAI and small college athletics, you are still getting a true student-athlete experience, which I'm a big believer in that. I believe athletics is an extension of the classroom. I believe athletics is the greatest classroom. Mm-hmm. I think it's better than sitting in, history too, or philosophy class. I think the lessons that you're learning through athletics and through sport are so great. And that's why I've given my life to it, because I'm passionate about educating the next generation.
Yeah. I agree 100%. No better way to have real world type conversations, real world type things thrown at you than through athletics.
Yeah.
Someone that played Division II, very much student athlete centered still, right? It was what it was. It was still academic based athletics still, but it was competitive still at a high level. And balancing that, I think, is a good life lesson.
Agreed.
Especially at small schools, your ability to have the life lessons and take the classroom experience onto your court or field or whatever the case may be is a little bit more prevalent and able to be done. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I agree. And that's why I've dedicated myself to small college athletics. Again, it's an extension of the classroom. I believe athletics is a classroom.
Yeah.
And I think it's very integral part of the educational experience, even if you're not participating in athletics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think the more you can get involved within the department, be engaged with the sports team and our guys, be engaged with the entire campus.
Sure.
There's benefits to that. And I think that the small college level does it better than anybody, in my opinion.
It also creates opportunities for us as faculty, us as administrators, to be involved in those kids' lives at a much bigger and better level than at bigger schools.
Agree. And that's my thing. I think it takes a village.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when we're pouring into these young people, they need multiple people pouring into them, investing in them. So when I'm recruiting, I'm telling guys, hey, when you come to UNOH, you're getting poured into at every level, at every facet. It's your journey, our focus. You know what I mean? And that's what college is about. You could say, hey, I'm coming in for a business degree, but you probably won't even work in that business degree. You know what I mean? You're going to get a career in something else, but you know what you're going to rely on? The people skills, the critical thinking, the relationships that you build. And again, when I was looking for a school to work out and looking at UNOH, it's they checked all the boxes within that. And I just think that this experience is unique to itself. I don't think you get this at the same level and the same intimacy at the bigger schools.
Sure. It's kind of funny that you bring that up too. There's been a number of times multiple guests with us have said something along the lines of relationships, who do you know, who knows you. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. It keeps coming up over and over and over again.
It's how I got this job. I mean, we can talk about it at some point.
We will, don't worry. We will, don't worry. But going back, looking at your career before UNOH, when was the moment, especially for coaching? Like, I'm a coach. I've been coaching high school football for 20 plus years. Like, I remember moments where like something hits you and you're like, man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. What was that moment for you?
I mean,
it was like a big, like,
it was
oh,
like
man.
that first year coaching, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even though like we went 6-22 my first year, we lost our first, 15 games, but I just fell in love with the journey. I fell in love with the process of coaching my guys, doing life with them. And just, it made me want to just dive in more, from an X and O standpoint to a relationship standpoint of learning how to build relationships better, how to build a culture. And so, that first year at Hartford Christian, I knew that was what I was supposed to do. I didn't miss playing once I started coaching. You know what I mean? It filled a void that wasn't even a void. It was like, I didn't know that this was like, I didn't know this is what I was going to enjoy it as much as I did.
Sure.
And then it's like, it's really become my passion.
And when things become a passion, just like the theme here, right? Take your passion and turn it into a career. And when that happens, I feel like people feel like you hit the jackpot, right? I mean,
I don't go to work.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed. I get to do stuff that I love every day.
It's
I
like
get
the
to
most
pour into young
cliche
people.
thing ever, right?
I wear Nike gear every day. I'm wearing sweats every day or a hoodie. I get Nike dry fits galore. I mean, it's a good life, man.
Without going into too much of the culture aspect, because I know that's a big deal to you.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep this short in like a few words. Like, what's your philosophy when it comes to coaching? Like, when you go to hire somebody or like things that you hang your hat on, what are those things?
Relationships.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I believe connection is the greatest gift we've ever been given. And relationships will be the foundation of everything we do.
I love it.
And that goes not just player coach, that goes me with, my assistants. It goes with me with academics, with administration, the whole, with staff. And so it's like, and I tell my guys, we're not going to be assholes. If we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be the team that when you see our guys are gonna say, hey, those are great dudes.
I love that.
Those are dudes who care about UNOH. Those are dudes who care about every student here.
Yeah.
And that filters down. So at the end of the day, relationships are everything to us.
And honestly, I can attest, from me being here the last 8 years and seeing the progression of the basketball program and what it's evolved to what it is now. The main component is you can tell those guys want to be more involved and actually want more help, which to me is like sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be that vulnerableness of saying like, help me please, give me more assistance, help me make sure I make it to class, or I need help with something along those lines where that never happened before.
So we have these ABCs in our culture notebook. It's a, 25-page document that we have.
It's awesome.
But the ABCs, our V is vulnerability is a superpower.
I love it.
And so I think sometimes as men, we don't, want to be vulnerable, but we communicate that consistently. Like, hey, it's okay to be vulnerable. There's strength in vulnerability, in asking for help. We were created as beings of relationships.
Yeah.
And so asking for help is not weakness. It's actually a strength.
I agree. Especially as athletes, we don't want to be vulnerable.
No.
We don't want to come across as being weak or, looked at slightly at all. So it is I think it's an extra layer of tough to then be vulnerable in that setting.
Yeah. And we tell our guys, our K is know your role.
Love it.
Know who you are. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's okay that you aren't what you aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't recruit duplicates here. So, there's only one Caleb Chapman. He's heck of a player in what he does, what he brings to the table. But he's not Antonio King. But Antonio King can't do what Caleb Chapman does, and Caleb Chapman can't do what Alex Benson does, and Alex Benson can't do what Steve Cornwell does.
Absolutely.
So they all have their unique role of what they do, and it's okay to lean into your strengths, and you've got somebody that can help you with your weaknesses.
And funny to bring that up, like the transition of understanding that role, like that's sometimes the hardest thing for an athlete to understand.
It is. But once they do, that's where you a lot of times see their success rise.
I mean, we'll use Steve as a great example. Like, freshman year, Steve sitting in my classroom, what am I doing here? I'm not getting the ball, blah, 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 blah. And my first initial response to him was like, you got to find a role and you have to do that role as best as possible.
Even his sophomore year, and then For his third year, which is redshirt sophomore, it finally clicked, and now he's our starting point guard. Yeah. And I couldn't be more proud of him.
I am too. And conversations that Steve and I, and even a bunch of the other guys too, but that one always comes to mind too, because high school athlete coming to college, I was the man.
Yeah.
And now maybe not. Mm-hmm. Like that transition's hard for people to kind of accept.
Yes.
And
it's one of the tougher transitions there
absolutely
is. And it's one of the reasons why I don't recruit high school kids as much.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because they do have a preconceived notion of what they're walking into.
And the way I look at it is, if they're too good, they're going to leave me.
Yeah, exactly.
If they suck, they're going to leave me.
We'll get into the recruiting world here in a little bit. My last thing, kind of with that philosophy concept, like how has that evolved over time? I mean, relationships is obviously a part of you, but if you remember like 19-year-old,
yeah,
you probably weren't thinking about it the same way you are now at 34.
At 19 in my coaching, or even when I first started coaching in college, it was more about I wanted to climb as quick as I could.
Sure.
I wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach, Josh Spears and Luke Gibson, they were so influential in my journey. They kept reminding me, hey, don't worry about the wins, bloom where you're planted, focus on the kids, focus on the relationships, focus on making an impact.
Yeah.
And they challenged me that way. I wrote Calipari for his advice, and he wrote me back.
No way.
And he said, keep about the kids, you always have a job.
Oh, I love that.
And so I think that the overzealous me,
mm-hmm.
the hyper-competitive guy that had a huge ego, might still have a pretty big ego too,
Maybe.
Maybe. But again, like when I was younger, it was more about, hey, how can I get to the next spot?
Yeah.
Not as much as, I'm here, I've got the most important job in America of pouring into somebody else's kid.
I love it.
And helping them grow. And so now it's, the idea of going to the next place, that's not even in my mind. Everybody says, is this where you want to be
mm-hmm.
in 5 years? And I would say it's UNOH. This
Absolutely.
is where I'm at. I don't have future plans. I'm going to bloom where I'm planning and pour into people here. This is my dream job.
And then organically, you do that enough, wins happen.
Yeah.
Right? The next step could happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're pouring into what you need to in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that when you bring value to the people around you,
mm-hmm.
more opportunities show itself.
I agree.
Whether that's at the place you're at, if you have aspirations of somewhere more, but when you bring value to the people around you, good things happen to you.
I believe that. Speaking of, we're taking our first pit stop. Do you like the theme, the pit stop?
Yeah, I mean, our student section is called the Pit Crew.
See?
And you know who came up with Pit Crew? This guy.
Pit Crew, Pit Stop.
Great day to be a racer.
God dang it, man.
We got some creative guys in here.
I'm telling you what.
Creative minds.
Hey, I need the toolbox. Look at this. Now, this was not my idea. This was Braden's idea.
All right.
But our first pit stop is a would you rather. Okay. So I'm going to do the first one, and I'm going to ask you the question of would you rather, and then you can do one back to me or to the crew back there. Up to you.
Let's do it.
Dun, dun. All right. Would you rather always mishear people or always mispronounce words?
I mean, always mishear. I'm already doing that now. I'm half deaf. I can tell you that story for sure. No, I'm legally half deaf.
I've known
I have
you.
only 20% hearing in my left ear.
I'm pretty sure I met you before you were officially hired.
Probably after.
Either way.
It was after, yeah.
But so it's been a handful of years. I've never heard this story.
Yeah. When I was 10 years old, I had a hearing disease called cholesteatoma.
Okay.
So it's a disease where all my hearing bones basically disintegrated. So I have 3 artificial hearing bones in my left ear. After my reconstructive surgery, me and my brother were wrestling. I wasn't supposed to do anything. I had a turtle shell in my ear. Trying to let them settle, but me and him wrestled. I hit my head against the wall, and I have a twin brother, for those who don't know. Hit my head against the wall, jostled the hearing bones. They didn't set right. Didn't go back for more surgery because I didn't want to. So, and I now have 20% left ear. So, like, if I'm in a loud place, and like you're talking to my left ear, but there's a ton of music in my right ear, then it's cooked. Like I got to put my right ear to you, because this one's not going to do the job.
So tonight at the Hall of Fame shenanigans going on, I got to make sure I stay.
Yeah, like if my left ear's to you, there's a chance I'm not hearing you.
Noted. So next
now I always hear you because you're very loud, but you soft spoken people out there, you got to help a brother out.
All right, you take one from the top of would you rather, and I'll indulge.
Only listen to one genre forever or shuffle everything?
Oh, my. My taste in music is pretty all over the place. Anyone that knows me knows.
That's a tough call.
that you can hear some random stuff. Earlier today, I'm playing music in my office. It went from Billie Jean, Michael Jackson, to Chris Brown, Fine China, to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
All within a 8-minute span.
So you're a shuffle guy.
I am a shuffle. I'm going to shuffle that.
All right.
I'm going to keep that moving all the time. I don't know if I can stay stationary long enough. As you can tell, I get a little antsy if I sit still.
Yeah.
I'm a shuffle.
Yeah.
I'm going shuffle. Well, I'm glad that the first pit stop was a success. Perfect. We got maybe 1 or 2 more after that. All right. So culture is big to you.
It is.
Anyone that knows you knows this. You have a 25-page
culture notebook.
Exactly. You've been a big part of some culture building here on campus. So what does, when you think of what you want Racers, UNOH men's basketball culture to stand for, what is that?
I mean, we have 5 core values.
Lay it on me.
So, our first core value is connection, like I talked about earlier. Connection is the greatest gift we've ever been given. It's the foundation of everything we do is relationship. So connection is number 1. Number 2 is trust. In order to create trust, you have to have intentional investment, intentional conversations. Number 3 is accountability. You can't say you love somebody if you refuse to hold them accountable. Accountability is love is accountability. Number 4 is joy. There's joy in the journey. You know what I mean? And the second part to the joy is, you got to have the juice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing great has ever been accomplished without enthusiasm. We take great joy in the fact we get to do something we love every day. We take great joy in the fact of all the opportunities we have here at UNOH. And number 5 is authenticity. I tell guys, we're not here to change you. We're here to challenge you. We're here to help you grow. We're here to say, okay, hey, this is where you want to go. Let's challenge your thought process, your habits to see, are those what's going to get you where you need to be and where you want to go?
And I love those. And I can attest, you hang your hat on those. Now, I know we've challenged some students in class before to name them and they struggle a little bit, but I guarantee you they at least have a general idea of those expectations or those 5 key core ones.
And if they don't got them, we're going to run. Yeah, so it's okay. Yeah, everybody's got another core values. And then there's some different, sayings within that we have, like great day to be a racer, everyday dude, bring your own juice, protect the vibes. I mean, there's a lot of just little sayings we have too that help our guys. And, hey, some people may not get it, but it's our own language and it's our own family, and I love that some of it is now becoming a little bit contagious.
Come on,
right?
Now.
And people are starting to use it as well.
Yes.
I said, I want great day to be a racer to be the official hashtag of UNOH by 2027, and we are well on our way.
That could have been one of our future things. Gosh darn it. You know how many people have asked me randomly out of nowhere, what is GD, Great Day TBAR means? Yes. And they're like, does it mean something inappropriate? I'm like, no, it means great day to be a racer.
Yep.
They're like, I'm going to start using that.
And shout out to Sundance Wicks, the head coach at University of Wyoming. He's who gave me that idea.
No way.
Because he says it's a great day to be a cowboy. As part of his Everyday Dude document, me and Sonny, I learned so much about culture from him. He's one of the best dudes in America, one of the most high, you think I'm high energy. You haven't met Sundance Wicks. You know what I mean?
I kind of want to.
So, dude is as genuine and as authentic as anybody. I'm so thankful for him and his impact in my coaching journey. But he started this thing called Great Day to be a Cowboy. And I'm like, dude, can I use it? Can I have it and use it here? And he was like, Rich, love it, do it. And I'm like, awesome. So we started Great Day to be a Racer. Basically, the whole premise of is you can find something to be grateful for every day.
I believe that.
So, and that attitude of gratitude will take you a lot farther than anything else. And so, no matter what it is, it's a great day to be a racer, and nobody has it better than us.
Nobody. I'm a believer. Now, with those culture things, how do you transition that from on the basketball court to off it?
I think it's intentionality. You know what I mean? We have a standard, and we're talking to our guys. We're reinforcing it every day. I am the CEO of culture. You know what I mean? I've got to protect the vision. I've got to protect our culture. And sometimes that means, hey, it's I look at it also like a flower bed. Mm-hmm. Okay? Every great flower bed will eventually grow some weeds. Mm-hmm. You got to pick the weeds out before they choke the flowers out. You know what I mean? And so you got to prune your beds, get them ready. And even the prettiest flower can sometimes become a weed if you don't take care of it. You don't invest in it. You don't pour into it. Mm-hmm. And so that's my job, to pour into our guys. And hey, sometimes we have to have reminders. And then there's sometimes where I have to take ownership in the fact that, hey, I didn't lead in this area well enough. Mm-hmm. And I've got to look in the mirror. But part of accountability is also holding myself accountable too.
And I love that. And it goes back to that vulnerability concept. You mentioned early trying to balance that as a new coach between winning and having success in the relationships.
Yeah.
How do you do that with the players that obviously are probably very singular at times of like, I want to win, I want my point, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like making them understand that what happens off it is as important.
Yeah, so we talk about how process creates results. And as much as we are in a results-driven society, we always got to go back to our process, and understand we get what we deserve. So if we're failing somewhere, let's look at our process. And typically, it's all interconnected somehow. You know what I mean? So if you're, absolute crap in the classroom, you're probably crap somewhere else in your life too. You can't be hyper successful in one area and then you're struggling in so many others. You know what I mean? And so we're holding guys accountable and say, okay, hey, maybe you don't understand why you're taking music theory or I forget one class that our guys hate. They just don't enjoy it. They enjoy every class here.
For sure they do. Every class, they're very involved.
But like, hey, you may not understand why you're taking this class, but what can you learn from it from a habit standpoint?
Absolutely.
You're going to have to do things that you don't like at some point as an adult and in your job.
Amen.
Okay. There's going to be certain people you don't like that you have to deal with. Like, I got to deal with this guy all the time. That's kidding. But there's certain people you're going to have to deal with. Like, and the skills you learn from that can transcend. Yeah. Even if you don't, think you're going to get a lot of value from finite mathematics.
Sure.
Because you're never going to use that in your career. I don't use finite math as a college basketball coach.
Yeah.
Right. But I can learn something from that class. I can learn something from that teacher and using that as a holistic experience to grow.
Yeah. All those interactions, if they have class with me, they're reminded daily that is making your brand of what Coach Rich, what another professor says about you when you're not in the room, which should matter a whole heck of a lot, especially when you're talking at culture at that level.
Yeah. And we say it only takes one to make a bad reputation for men's basketball.
That's true.
Right? It only takes one. Yep. And so you have a responsibility, not just for yourself, but to the entire program, and so, because they're not going to say, it was, and I'm going to just say Malachi Black, because everybody knows Malachi's not going to do anything wrong.
Nah.
But, and they're not going to say, it's Malachi Black doing something wrong.
Sure.
No, they're going to say the men's basketball player. Or if JV men's basketball, if one of them do something that they're not supposed to do on campus, they're not going to say that individual student. They're going to say, hey, it's men's basketball. And so we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our program to make sure we're living to the standard as well.
And I love that because it does matter. Speaking from experience, it matters a lot. All right, we're doing a new pit stop, but I'm going to take a detour.
Let's do it. Come on now.
And I'm going to do my own little pit stop here. So this is rapid fire.
All right.
Coach Richard Westerlund, first episode of Rapid Fire. So these are going to be obviously questions meant for you to answer quickly.
Let's do it.
Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then we'll kind of put the final, chains on this thing. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Favorite part of practice?
Depends on the group. This year's been, for me, it's been defense.
Defense.
Yep.
Okay. Toughest part of the job people don't see?
I think when you're talking about the real life stuff that your guys are going through that sometimes you got to pull out of them that they're not ready to share, the mental health aspects that you don't always see that every day. But we're dealing with humans and relationships that sometimes tough stuff happens in life and they're not going to be their best every day. So how are we pouring into them and supporting them when we don't always know what's going on, trying to pinpoint it. So I try and do my best to keep a good pulse on every guy.
So novel idea to say they have a lot of things going on in their life.
Yeah.
And empathy kind of matters.
It does.
Amen. All right. One word to describe your current team right now.
Oh, man. Hungry dogs. I know that's 2 words, but hungry dogs.
Hungry dogs. You can put it together and be one.
Well, we got it on a shirt. Hungry dogs find a way.
Best road environment you've ever coached in?
So 3 come to my mind immediately. Number 1, at Lords for that playoff game last year. It was incredible. It was a fun environment. Fortunately, we were able to come out on top of that one in overtime. Number 2 would have been at top 5 Grace College last year on their opening night in their tournament. Gym was packed out, like 4,000 fans. It was incredible. And number 3, any game, Great Lakes Christian at Grace Christian in Grand Rapids. We had some great battles there. The environment was always packed. It was always fun. So that was a great small college rivalry as well. So
we provide a unique experience in the garage as well, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get the pit crew in there. The juices get flowing. The magic is happening. I mean, don't nobody want to come to the garage.
I feel like it is definitely home field advantage.
It is, and we make our disadvantage our advantage here. Come on now.
I love that. Hey, let's give good job on the rapid fire. That was the first one. I kind of just did that on my own. Thank you very much. All right, as we close here, one of the last things that I want to touch base on, just for a snippet here, the landscape of college athletics changing. I don't know any other way to put it than it's changed, even from 5 years ago to 10 years ago to when I was, a college athlete in the early 2000s. Like, what do you prioritize in recruiting in this landscape?
I think more than ever now, it's do they fit in our culture? So that culture notebook I talked about, we give every recruit and their parents the book, and we make sure they know, hey, this is what you're coming into. This is what you're signing up for. Yes, I'm going to be hard on your son. Yes, I'm going to push him. But do you fit what we do? And I say this, I'm not for everyone. Neither should I be, okay? But, there's certain guys that will not like me as a coach, because if you don't like direct, you don't like accountability, you don't like intense, you're going to struggle, okay? If that's something you're looking for, then you're going to do great, And I tell guys, look, I love all my players. Whether they've loved me back or not, I loved them. But I also know, I've been doing this long enough that I'm not the right fit for every guy. You know what I mean? So making sure they will fit my style of coaching, not our style of play, but my style of coaching, what we expect of our guys, just the energy that's necessary. And then we're looking at the character. We're not going to bring in assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, you got to have the measurables, you got to have the talent.
Sure.
We've been fortunate to find some really good talented dudes here. But again, they got to be able to be a campus fit too. And we always bring every recruit in, and I talk to my guys and say, hey, does he fit with us? Do you like him? And if they say no, then we're not going to bring him in. And that's a fact. I trust my guys that we have here, and bringing somebody into our family, they're going to tell me, hey, is this guy a good fit for us? And if they say no, then I'm not signing off on it.
Well, I feel like it'd create an atmosphere that's going to make it more challenging for you to do your job with maybe not so much a reward at the end of the day either.
Yeah. And sometimes you get the wrong mesh of people. It makes your job a lot harder. It makes it a lot harder.
Especially when you get to choose who that mesh is, right? I mean, there's some people in my classroom, I don't get to choose who comes in there and try to work with that dynamic, but obviously you get to, so being selective. Awesome. Last pit stop. Again, I'm making a little bit of a detour adjustment here just because, we don't want to go terribly too long, but our last pit stop is talking about predictions and future things happening. So I'm just going to go off script here and say, what excites you the most about the future of this program here at UNOH?
I think we've got, great support, and so when you have great alignment, something special can really happen. And that alignment's not just from, administration, which we have tremendous support from our admin, but we've got also tremendous support from academics. We've seen more professors pouring into our guys. We had so many professors buy our guys meals over break, sponsoring meals. And so when you feel that love and support, something really special is going on. And then we've got support from the community. And so with all that support, we're finally getting a really some great momentum in this program. And so, we're farther along than when we were last year. And we're just going to keep building relationships and keep trying to keep the snowball rolling.
Yeah.
But when you have all the support and all these people wanting to be a part of what we're doing, that excites me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're attracting some high-level talent, some great guys. But again, that's because we have high-level people. And I believe that people make the culture. Whenever I'm selling any program, it's like, don't look at the buildings. Buildings don't impact people. People do. And so you can say whatever you want about the garage. I love the garage. If you're making a decision based off of our gym, then you're not our kind of guy. We want an OKG. We want people who value relationships and say, hey, you know what? This place is different because I'm going to get loved on and poured into. This is a place I want to grow at.
Absolutely. And I can attest as one of those that, help sponsor the meals, and I've been doing it ever since you've been here. Obviously, love the bejesus out of those guys and try my hardest to make sure I'm positively affecting their lives and everyone's life here.
Yeah.
But you do that enough. Again, I'm a believer. You do the right things over and over again. Eventually, some of the things that we value so much, winning, success, that sort of thing, eventually will just take care of itself.
I agree. When you focus on the most important things, I think when you focus on the scoreboard of life and winning that one, the scoreboard in competition is going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
And I know that's countercultural a lot in today, but I will always care about that scoreboard of life and pouring into my young men and helping build them up than I will about, beating Lourdes or Rochester or Madonna. And again, I want to beat them bad.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do. You know what I mean? But not at the expense of, and my coach, Josh Beers, told me this. He said the person will always outlast the game. And so I'm always going to be, hey, Jaheim Spencer, he needs me. I'm going to pour into him. You know what I mean? And that's going to matter to me more than any win. And when I say, like, what are my banners? My banners are my guys when they graduate, when they get married, when they're present fathers, when they're giving back to their community. That's, to me, is my championship. Graduation day is championship day for me.
I love that.
It's not, if we get fortunate to compete for a WAC championship this year, that's not my mountaintop. My mountaintop is seeing my guys succeed at a high level.
Yeah, and I love that. And I used to, maybe a new hashtag we need to implement. I used to use it, and I don't so much anymore, was, hashtag life changer, just because that's the way I felt about being in the higher education type area that I was, right? We have a distinct chance to change someone's life for the better. Like, you really think about that. Like, that's impactful.
Yeah, I think the data shows that, the coach is number 2 on most impactful outside of a parent. And so
I believe that
it's a big job, but it's one that's one of the most rewarding jobs that you can ever have.
I love that. All right, closing up here, what should Racer fans be excited about moving forward with the rest of this season, possibly, and then maybe anything that's coming up that you want to kind of let people know about? Yeah,
I think that if you haven't been out to a game, since Thanksgiving break, you got to come out. We've changed our identity completely. With the way we play and how we're playing, I think we're playing some really good basketball. We got a home game this Saturday, against Rochester Christian. It's our Hall of Fame game, inducting Coach Chris Adams. He's the men's basketball rep, so
legend. That's
really
right.
excited about him. But again, this team is playing some really good basketball. Our zone, we've moved to a zone defense,
which is just,
we press and zone. We're going to get a shirt out here soon that says we zone. But it's been elite. These guys are really taking to it. We've developed a new identity. But this is what's so unique about every team. Every team's going to take on its own identity, its own season, and this team has embraced it. And so I'm excited for us to finish. More things to be excited about is just we've got a great senior class, and not just to see them play, but just great dudes that you need to come get to know before they're off our campus, and we're going to greatly miss them after they graduate. But you want to be around these guys. Their energy is special. Their energy is contagious. And if you haven't been around our guys yet, you need to take the opportunity to do so.
Yeah. I can attest. Coming to a game in the garage, the atmosphere, it's electric. And, you get a first-hand glimpse of some high-level basketball, but you get to see and hear a lot of things just because of the closest of what we have, which to me is super fun to be a part of and to watch. So,
and our pit crew, they're getting better at the heckling. Come on now.
Let's go.
Let's make it the hardest place to play in America.
Come on, pit crew. Let's be loud, even though this will be aired after tomorrow night's game, but still.
Bring the juice.
Bring the juice. All right, Coach Westerlund, sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for being on. Thank you for everything you do, not just for, the men's basketball team, but just athletics, UNOH in general. You are definitely making things better here. And from my personal experience and my expectations, that should be everyone's number one goal, is how can we make UNOH better? And you're doing that every single day. So kudos to you and thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's a great day to be a racer.
And it's never a bad day, ladies and gentlemen, never a bad day. Well, thanks everyone for, listening on and being on for this episode. Make sure you follow Life in Racers Lane on, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Oh boy, what's the last one? That's it. Okay, those things. Make sure you give us a follow, like, share, smash the notifications button. That's all I got. I can't remember the rest of it. But again, thank you so much. Make sure you check out Racers Athletics and come to a basketball game before the season's over. See this guy in action. It's entertaining.
It is. If you're not entertained by the game itself, you can watch me on the sideline. I'm pretty active.
It is pretty fun. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. See you next time. Appreciate it.